Back to the grind, because that's what Remnant 2's trophy is all about, grind. Alright. I made sure to eat a lot more. I fell in love with this game. Characters sound like upgrades. I like it. Couldn't put this game down. Eventually had no choice, considered spend over 100 hours. I can see that. It has a really good repetitive loop to it. Wait, didn't I finish this? Oh yeah, I did, okay. Let's re-roll. Let's do Narud again. I am not playing this game again on apocalyptic difficulty, fuck that. I beat it once on apocalyptic difficulty and all they gave you was a bunch of weapons that were actually worse than the weapons I had. So I was like, I mean, it's a okay reward, but I kind of like it when games like give you like a broken weapon, but I guess they can't really do that. I don't know. Like, I would have even preferred like a joke item. Like in Kingdom Hearts, you get some crown for being the enigmatic warrior. I made sure to overeat so I don't get hungry, so we'll see how this goes. Even though I shouldn't, because this weekend I had like steak and tiramisu and I wasn't really good. I mean, I still worked out, it's just that I ate 2 bagels. I should have had eggs with them, but honestly, I'm not a fan of eggs. Like, I like eggs, but only when it's like with mayonnaise, jalapenos on a sandwich with tomatoes. And I only like them in their raw form, like scrambled, if they're like
what is this?
Overly salted. I should like them, but I just don't.
Some work of that damn custodian.
I understand it would be good content to play this game on nightmare difficulty, but I value my sanity. I'm one of those people, if I keep losing, I get really, really frustrated. There are some YouTubers, like this guy I watch, Sandwiches. He loves playing games on the harder difficulty. I just don't know how he's able to keep his sanity. He lost in Sekiro like 800 times on a boss, and he somehow was able to keep going. I would have cried.
Pray, no, you on the fight, you bring me this Ellipsis Torah
I got one more DLC. There's one more DLC for this game, though. Still hasn't released.
I will answer no further questions.
A lot of people gave me shit for the Taken King expansion. Like, I didn't like it. So I gave it like a 5 or a 6, I forgot. I gave it like a low score, and people really hated that I did that. I got downvoted to hell. I mean, I didn't get fully downvoted. Some people did agree with me. It was like more like 40 to 60%. You like what you like? Yeah, that's true. I like the second DLC more. Because I felt like the first DLC, like the fact that the True King doesn't do anything different. That was my major issue. Like, you can kill the Blue Goddess or not, he still acts the same way. I was like, then what's the fucking point? He's just crazy then. Which is fine, but then you don't really have a real ending. You're just like, okay. I mean, you technically do have it with the Red Prince, but it was just like, I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't really like how Remnant sets itself up with multiple endings for everything. And there's not, I mean, there's some good and bad, like with Narud, obviously destroying their ship is bad. Like, no question about it, destroying the ship is bad. But, or when you side with the, wolf over the doe. But it was just like, there's only one ending per se, because you can kill the goddess or spare the goddess, he doesn't give a damn, you can fight him right away, doesn't care. and then you just get extra dialogue if you sided with the Red Prince who tried to kill you the first time. That's why I like the second DLC more. There are multiple endings, and all of them have different outcomes, whether you help the scholar or not, whether he betrays you, whether he tries to use the god as vengeance, whether you allow him to have, like, peace, and realize, hey, what you're doing is still wrong, you're just consumed by revenge, whether you save the goddess or not. Like, that was a cool ending, where you actually had to go into a dungeon and save her, and then she just kind of goes away and just like, hey, okay, I'm done. I may have been wrong, but, you know, nothing I can do about it now. You don't have a true ending. True. I mean, technically in the first game, with the... I'm bad with names. The fantasy place, the jungle place, there are multiple endings to that. But in this game, I don't know, it kind of makes it canon that you did save everyone from there. So, I can understand it's really hard to do that. Like, you don't know exactly what to do. Like, you want to return... Because eventually, I'm pretty sure they're going to bring back the other worlds. Like, the sand world. So, they're going to have some sort of information of what happened after. I really wish they have like a space level or a underwater level, like something that's true horror. Like, this is definitely my favorite world in terms of presentation. I'm just not a fan of exploring this world because of all the sand and the random enemies that pop up everywhere, especially the ones that throw things at you. Like, I do love this world, it's still my favorite one, but because it reminds me so much of Alien. I did an entire lore video on this. I didn't do it for the other two because the names were just so complicated for me. Plus, technically, it was probably right because we didn't get the one true king of what happened to him really until the DLC. And technically, I'm pretty sure the next DLC is going to be the one centered on this. So it'd either be after they go into Olympus' Torah or they don't. I shouldn't buy anything. I need to get 10,000, 100,000 scrap. I mean, that would actually be a cool DLC if they actually do it before Ellipsis Torah. They're like, this is what happened before it, and and the irony. Like, actually, that would be a pretty cool idea. If, like, you find out the reason they went to Ellipsis Torah was because of you. You convinced them. But then again, none of them have seen an alien, so that probably would be like a little problematic. Are you talking about the sand world from the first game? Yeah. I didn't really like that world because of the gameplay. Like, all the enemies would just charge your position. So, I was a long-range character, and I had to, like, just start using melee everywhere. Like, I liked the first game, I just wasn't a fan of the final boss. Like, it took me way too long to figure out what to do there. Oh yeah, I remember why I have to do this world. It's for the ghost. I have to kill 20 of these ghosts. And they fixed the glitch with the game, so you can't cheese this achievement anymore. The one I'm in now, this is the alien one. There's a glitch that one of the enemies in one of the dungeons is declared within the enemy dossier as a ghost. And since it's declared as a ghost, it summons those orbs. It's a robot. And it counts all those little orbs as a ghost. So people like me would just... That's how we got the achievement. We just glitched the game. Didn't care for the guys charging you. I'm not a fan of that type of enemy. It just reminds me of the Krogan from Mass Effect. Not the remake. Mass Effect Remastered. The original Mass Effect game. In the original Mass Effect game, the Krogan would just charge you full speed and get right up into your face and one-shot you on insanity difficulty. So they were like the worst enemies to fight. I like the water harper. I forgot who my favorite character is in this game. I didn't like any of the main cast characters. The thing is, this game doesn't really do a good job for the mainline story. It kind of just forgets about it as you go into a world, and then when you get back from the world, it's just like, oh yeah, you remember this? I also didn't like the final boss. It's just like a generic dragon. I like dragons, but it just kind of came out of nowhere. Unless it's supposed to be the Guardian infected by the root, but the Guardian can't be infected by the root. The whole point of it is that if you kill the Guardian, then the root take over, but as long as you have the Guardian in place, then the roots can't take over. And the song... Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The little water harp thing. I like the Red Prince's armor design though. Even though I hate that guy. Stabs you in the back. And I hated that boss fight. I mean, I didn't hate it, it was just really annoying. The way he just summons that tornado and then he summons ads. Like, that was a nightmare boss. I do wish that they had the ability to change your dog, though. I feel like they could have put other models in the dog, but I don't know. Mass Effect 2 is your favorite? I like Mass Effect 2 as well. I wasn't a fan of Mass Effect 3 when it came out. The ending for Mass Effect 3 really disappointed me. Like in the original, whoever you take into your party during the final battle is supposed to die. Like, a lot of people were like, didn't know whether they lived or died, but the developers came out and said, no, they die. So then they were like, then why would we ever take them with us? It also didn't help that the ending was just so ambiguous. The remake of the ending was good though. I still didn't get all the achievements in the remaster. Literally, I'm just missing the glitch achievement for Mass Effect 3. Like, I got all the achievements in the original versions of the game. But for some reason, I just can't get the number 3 Insanity achievement because the game won't let me. Like, I was gonna do that on PlayStation, but I was just like, oh, I remember that it's glitched.
Well, at least that's over.
It was annoying. It's still glitched. I've beaten that game like 5-6 times on Legendary difficulty and never unlocked. I just got fed up. Same thing for Mass Effect Andromeda. I did those stupid puzzles, remnant puzzles, so many times. And it kept saying, oh no, you didn't do 20 of them. I'm like, yes, I did. I counted. And then they're just like, nope. I just hate when game developers do that. They never fixed it. And it's one of those stupid achievements where if you don't get it the first time, you have to replay the entire game. Like, I hate achievements like that. That's why I stopped playing Redfall. I was actually going to try and get all the achievements in that. And so many of them are locked behind replaying the game. And I was just like, no. Makes options with the dog Black Husky. Can Huskies be black? I don't know. Like, technically dog breeds shouldn't even exist. It's something humans invented. Like, in the wild, dogs, they randomize their genetics so much that there is technically no breed. Jacob was the worst? I hated Jacob. Like, it wasn't the fact that I didn't like him as a person. He was so, like, boring. Like, his mission with his father just comes out of nowhere. But in a way, it actually helped build Miranda's character because it showed that she still really much cared about Jacob. Like, Miranda and Jacob used to date. And they don't make it clear what exactly happened, but I think it's because Jacob and her probably wanted different things in life, but she still very much loves him. And that's why she wanted him to know about his father and all that and make whatever decision he wanted. Like, it was more about, I felt like it was more about, he was more of a supplement to Miranda's character because it shows despite being a cold special operative that she still had people she cared about, and Jacob was definitely one of them. But at the end of the day, when you romance him, the guy ends up cheating on you, so fuck him. But at the same time, technically you cheat too, because in Mass Effect 2, if you romance Liara or Ashley, you can end up in a relationship with Tali, Garrus, Thane, Miranda, any of them. So it's always like... But at the same time, it's like, at her core, like, kind of Ashley low-key breaks up with you when she finds out you're with Cerberus. And Liara, well, she's kind of crazy in Mass Effect 2. She's bloodthirsty. She wants revenge for what happened to... I can't remember the Drell's name, but... Theon? I don't remember his name. But she wanted revenge for what happened to him, and she thought he was dead. She tames out in Mass Effect 3, but in Mass Effect 2, she is definitely bloodthirsty. She would even kill innocent people. But yeah, I just didn't... Like, Jacob was just boring at his core. Like, you literally... Why would you ever bring him into a mission when you could bring Miranda? Like, Miranda was a better companion. She had better options for combat. It was just like, there's no reason to bring Jacob. And the second you got Garrus, you're just like, okay, now Jacob's even more useless. Like, granted, Mass Effect 2 had a lot of characters, so you would usually just pick the same characters over and over. But everyone had their own gimmick that was actually at least good. Like, Legion was the one who used this anti-material rifle, and he was the only one who could use Tali's abilities and hack Geth. So, that made him good. Thane also used the sniper rifle. I mean, I barely used Thane. Grunt was broken. Like, I'm pretty sure once you got Grunt, there was no reason to pick anyone else because he literally heals himself. And on top of healing himself, he can charge enemies and instantly kill them almost. So, like, if you want to beat the game on insanity, just pick Grunt. Literally, just pick Grunt. That's whoever the second character doesn't matter. Just pick Grunt. I mean, technically, you would pick Garrus because Garrus was also very good. Him and James Vega were not Vega. Zaid. You either picked Zaid or you picked Garrus. Yeah, but the same, she talks to herself too much. Who's she? Deep pocket rings. I remember someone did complain about my Remnant review when I wrote that I reviewed it after being 100%. They're like, no, you didn't. You didn't get everything. And they're technically right. Like, I think it's nearly impossible to get everything in this game and knowing you've got everything. Because there's, like, I 100%, I got all the achievements on the Xbox One on all the DLCs and everything. And I'm still finding new shit in this game. Like, new rings, new stuff. I feel like anyone who replays... It's like with Elden Ring. Like, literally, there are dungeon bosses I didn't know were in the base game that I'm finding out about now that I'm replaying it on PS4. They get the Platinum Trophy. I'm like, this was here the entire time? Like, I feel like it's next to impossible unless you have, like, a full 100% verified guide of knowing where everything is at all times. Like, even with the DLC, people are still finding new stuff. They're like, wait, this was here? I feel like I ate too much. My stomach is hurting a little. It's not hurting, but there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of gas building up, like hot steam. I ate bagels and I toasted them, and it's annoying me a bit. I love bagels though. Extra cream cheese. Like, I see people complain about it. They're like, oh, this is too much cream cheese. I'm like, nah, that is enough cream cheese. I like cream cheese. I think I have to find the device.
That you have not returned with the soul sparks. Find them. I will be waiting.
I like how this character is just like Doma from Demon Slayer. This guy is just like, hey, the only way to ensure that life continues is for them to live in my body. I'm like, oh, that's smart. You're clearly not insane. You will live on through me. Oh wait, Sephiroth did that first. Never mind. That was Sephiroth's entire shtick. It's like, it's not a death, it's a homecoming. I mean, they used that as a meme in the remake, which is absolutely amazing. Rebirth is currently my game of the year. Next up, the Stellar Blade. Sony has had, like, really good games this year. Like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was freaking amazing, but not a lot of people played it when it came out because it came out at a weird time. Like, I don't know, like, I played it and I loved it. I think this is the hatchery, yeah. And then Stellar Blade was really good. 100% it's Stellar Blade, but I didn't 100% Final Fantasy. I couldn't do it, like I couldn't do that damn piano game. I have no rhythm, so I was just like, I can't do this. I tried so many times. I literally tried an entire day and I just couldn't do it. I know there are like caskets around this area now because of that area. That was another thing I discovered after I beat 100% of the game. I was like, wait, what do these caskets do? And then you find out they're drone satellites. You can't get it off. They added new stuff all the time. Yeah, that's also true. Like, I saw the developers were like, they add new rings, then they add like new stuff that people just aren't even aware about. They hide it. Which I kind of like and hate, because there are things in this game where I'm just like, how the fuck are you ever supposed to figure that out? Like, I feel like there's so many stuff in this game that unless you had a guide, there was no way you would figure it out. But then again, Dark Souls operates like that. Like, so many people have found shit that they were like, there was no way I would have ever found this if it wasn't for a guide. Like, the boss fight Dark Eater Midir in Dark Souls 3. Like, I've seen so many people when I was looking up a guide for that boss. Like, how the hell did anyone figure this out? You have to go into a hidden area, go down an elevator, do a jump. It's like insane. And it turns out he's the hardest boss in the game. I just hope for when they make the next game, which is highly inferred they will, is they'll focus more on the main story. Like, I don't mind these worlds, but I really think that they kind of just let the main story kind of die out on its own. Like, it's not a major focus. There's a hole in here, I remember. That's not the one. We played Stellar Blade yesterday. I like the game. It reminds me a lot of Nier. The only major problem I kind of had with the game was that there are a lot of fetch quests. Like, a lot of the missions just feel like mobile game title busy work. Which makes sense, they make a lot of mobile games, the people who developed the title shift up. But for what they delivered on, it was actually really fun. The combat was fun, the boss fights were fun. They just need to tone down, like, with the mobile stuff. A lot of people also didn't like the environment design. And I thought the environment design was fine, and the whole reason behind it, they have a lore reason of why the world is mostly made of sand. I remember this part. Let my summons just take care of everything. I don't care what people say, like, I like using summons to just kill everything. Like, while I'm doing other stuff, they're just going around getting me XP. There it is.
Glad that's over.
I do need to get that medallion that increases scrap. I have to really try not to buy anything. Yeah, that's good too. You can summon the dog and the summoners. That's something I do like about this game. They don't put any restrictions. They're like, wear what you want, you know, use whatever gun you want, we don't care. Like, I like when games do that. They give you just full unrestriction. Like, they could have easily just said, oh, you can have two of the same summonings. Two summonings. So I was just like, I like the fact they just say do whatever you want. Like, I know there are people, like, for example, like with Elden Ring, when I uploaded like some of my content, I had literal tryhards talking about this game is made for kids. You're just playing like a freaking average Joe and shit like that. And I was like, so what? Like, who cares? Like, if they give you the tools to play a certain way, you can play that way. It's like you just have a lot of tryhards like that who just make their identity that, oh my god, I beat Sekiro. I'm like, yeah, Sekiro is a hard game, congratulations. But they make it their identity where they're like, see, I did something really hard and I accomplished it. And they hate it when other people do it, but in a way that's a little easier. It's just like their accomplishment comes from something that's designed to be beaten. Like, I'm not saying that video game accomplishments are any less noteworthy. 100% in the game, especially a hard game, yeah, congratulations. But I've seen so many videos of people just bitching and complaining that the game is too easy, or it's not challenging enough, or even worse, that so many people can beat it. I was like, so what? Let people have their fun. Like, I think that at its core, a game shouldn't be challenging to the point that it's frustrating, but fun for the sake of fun. It's like what Reggie says. If it ain't fun, why bother? Like, that's the number one thing why people do like Sekiro, even though it's a very, very challenging game. I never beat it. I kind of want to try again. I rage quitted it. A lot of people love the challenge of it. And I know why I can't beat it anymore. It's because it's a rhythm game. Like, at its core, it's a musical game. You have to memorize patterns based on musical scores, like freaking Tengen from Demon Slayer. Like, you have to recognize the musical patterns of each character, each enemy, and that's how you deal with them. I was like, that's why I can't do it. I'm tone deaf. You too? I just hate that. People make fun of me about it a lot. Like, one of my brother's friends years ago was just like, you can't recognize the rhythm. I'm like, no. They're like, and then they started laughing at me, and I was like, oh, well, thanks. Make me feel more insecure. I wish I could get that shield. Atari booster. Oh, that's actually really good. What I want to know is, what is the max when it comes to Dragonheart? I don't think there is a max. They just let you keep going. That's another thing I'm like, I do like. They're like, you know what, let's just let them keep going. Because once you reach a max, you lose the desire to keep going. Maybe 99 might be the most, you never know, but... It's like how Destiny used to operate. Like, Destiny used to operate in a very fun system where leveling was very fun, and once you reached max level, you would get orbs for a cosmetic and gear every time you leveled up, and it was a decently paced system where it wasn't too heavy, but not too light, so you would get it at a decent rate. But then they nerfed it for monetization. Like, I remember that. A lot of people don't remember that from Destiny 1 because I'm old. But they had a really good loop system where you felt like you were constantly earning stuff. Like, you would level up, like, after maybe one or one and a half dungeons, then you would keep doing it and being like, oh, even if I don't get what I want, I leveled up and got an orb. So you always felt like you were earning stuff. I saw that, I'll go down. Don't listen to other people. I disagree with that. You should listen to other people in order to get their perspective, because that's the only way you'll learn. Like, one of the hardest skills that I've still yet to master is listening to other people who disagree with me. It's an extremely difficult skill. Like, would you just listening to them and not getting frustrated? I was always thinking, that's not a hard skill. It is. Especially if you disagree with them. Because all you'll be thinking in the back of your head is like, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, that's not true. But if you actually just listen to someone, especially from a perspective you don't agree with, like, even if you think they're full of shit at the end of the day, you at least listen to what they have to say so you have a better idea of what they mean. To get validation from other people. In a way, we always try to get validation from other people. But I get what you're saying. It's more of an extreme element. Like, these people want the extreme element of like, hey, I'm so great and incredible. Look at me. Like, it's everything in moderation. It's good to have an ego, but not too much. It's good to feel validated for the things you do, but not to the point that you constantly need it. It's good, like, you need a balance of socializing. Like, being alone all the time is not good for your health, and you'll end up being very bitter and angry. But it also doesn't mean that you need complete validation for people, that kind of stuff. You just need, like, balancing it out. Should I jump down? I play games for fun. I try to do the same thing now. But I still want to beat Sekiro. I just really got annoyed with it. Like, I was doing so well until I got to the bull boss. Once I got to that bull, I was just like, okay, fine. Because I didn't know what to do. Like, do I charge it head first or what? Like, I'm all about avoiding damage. Like, the thing with that is, like, with Monster Hunter, Monster Hunter, I like going directly into the fight. I like the long sword. I can't wait for Monster Hunter, the next one. I really hope Capcom gives me a review copy. I also have to play Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, I have to play that. I want to play it. Like, I played the first game. It was pretty good. Like, it had a lot of issues. Like, it was very, very intense. But the story was so damn good. I'm not gonna make it in front of... Well, yeah. It's just not a game for me. Like, the thing is that I have to... Like, when I see people got the Platinum Trophy in that, like, over 10% of people got it, that encourages and depresses me. I'm like, so many people were able to do this. I mean, maybe it's something that just needs to click for me, because the same thing happened to me when I was playing Bloodborne. When I played it for the first time, I hated it. I was terrible at it. I was not good at it. Then, like, a year later, I was like, okay, I'll give this another shot. And then something clicked for me, and I was like, okay, now I can play this game. Then I used those skills to beat Dark Souls, and then Dark Souls 3, and Elden Ring. I never beat Dark Souls 2. Like, I started it, but I don't know, something about that game that I just don't like. Like, I tried playing it, it's just like something about it. Like the design of it. Just doesn't, like, I like what they were doing with the story. Like the idea that you're not the chosen one trying to reconnect the flame again, you're not this, like, technically you are a nobody, but you're also one of the most important characters in the entire lore. But I like the idea that they were trying to go into the Halloween situation, because that was a big part of Dark Souls, and I was like, oh, so we're finally exploring this. And we were exploring a world beyond everything else from the Dark Souls franchise, because that was also a major complaint I had. I was like, what about the rest of the world? Like, if this world goes dark, does that mean the other part of the world goes dark? Are there other regions with different ideals and different lore? It's like with Elden Ring. I was like, if these monsters exist on the surface world, what the fuck exists in the ocean?
This is it.
I was like, what's down there? And it's probably even worse. It's probably like a freaking Cthulhu monster down there, or like a Megalodon just times 3 the size. I always found it funny that you don't encounter any fish like swimming creatures in Elden Ring, at least from my knowledge. Like, you encounter dragons and aerial creatures, but you don't see any, like, something come out of the ocean. I mean, I did read a theory that they said that the ocean is actually dead. There's nothing there. But then I was like, there are lobsters and crawfish, so something aquatic exists. But I just like the idea when they explore different regions of the world, of a world they establish. And I also like playing as a character who's a nobody. Yeah, basically all life hangs in a balance. I just get bored of that type of story. I get bored of you're the chosen one, you can do everything. Don't get me wrong, I love Legend of Zelda. I love Mass Effect, I love Dragon Age. But sometimes I just want to play a story like Halo 3 ODST, where you're not the chosen one, you're just some random person doing... That's why I loved Halo ODST so much, you weren't special. You were just some ODST trooper doing a mission. I mean, it was a suicidal mission, but it was a mission nevertheless. And that's what I really liked about it. Like, that's why I kind of didn't like Demon Slayer during the Swordsman arc. I was like, so Tandrio can literally just use any breathing style, so what's the point? He literally just starts doing thunder breathing. I'm like, okay, so he's the Avatar. But even the Avatar had weaknesses. Like, Aang doesn't want to kill. He's an airbender. He's a nomad. He doesn't kill. Even though there are videos showing that he has killed people. He buried people over 20 feet of snow. And then another instance, he killed a bug with he used high-speed wind in order to murder something. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like, I get bored of the Chosen One story. It also makes it a lot more intense. Like, when you're not special, you're just some random person like Ethan Winters from Resident Evil 7. I feel like it just adds to the intensity. Like, that's what I loved about Resident Evil 7. You were just some normal guy. Like, you're not Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine. You're not trained in any way to use a gun or any of this stuff. Like, even in the original Resident Evil, yeah, it was scary and terrifying for them, but they were still stars. They were special forces. They were trained in weapons and first aid and taking on life and death situations. Like, yeah, there was a completely new situation they weren't trained for, but they were still trained to use a gun and stuff.
The custodian sealed up.
So that's why I really like Resident Evil 7. I liked Resident Evil Village a lot too. Like, people didn't like that game, and I was just like, I had a blast. I was like, I was shooting werewolves with a shotgun. It's like, what's not fun about that? Then you fight a Bloodborne boss with Lady D, where she turns into a dragon centaur creature, and I'm like, that's awesome. It really sucks for these guys, though. Like, at their core, these are people who've gone mad. Like, they were alone for thousands of years. And you're basically trying to, like, in a way, put them to peace. Like, the astropaths are basically the Drexir supercomputers. Living supercomputers. And when you learn what happened with Ellipso Tora, you're like, oh wow, so these people are literally like deranged Drexir. That's where I went. This way.
You ain't so tough. Yeah,
What I was talking about. I said don't listen to anyone. I was trying to about people that don't try to give you grief. Oh no, I know that for a fact. Like, I get a lot of hate comments and death threats. Not, I mean, not a lot. Like, they rarely come. They come, like, once a month. Or, like, the death threats come in, like, once a month or something like that. But, the hate comments, they come in a lot. Like, how you have 100k subs. How the fuck do you, but you only get, like, a few dozen views on your videos? I'm like, yeah, because I'm a guides channel. And then they get angry. They're like, oh, well, I can do this myself. I was like, then go do it. You can do it. Like, that's the whole point of YouTube. Like, anyone can make a YouTube channel and start uploading videos. That's one of the great things about it. Like, literally, that's the whole point that I love about YouTube and Twitch. Anyone can start a YouTube channel and just be a person talk that. But they get really angry at me. And I'm like, it's because they're angry that they feel like I don't owe any success in life. It's like the classic people who are like, if I had their money or their success, I would do things different. I'm like, no, you wouldn't. They're like, if I was Mark Zuckerberg, I would be on Easy Street. No, you wouldn't be. You would be stressed out every single day of your life. Like, I used to be that way until I realized, you know what? No, I wouldn't. I would hate being Mark Zuckerberg or being as rich as Moist Critical, because then all the eyes are on you. And I don't know how I'd handle that level of attention. I think I would freak out every single day of my life. Did I go the wrong way? Yeah, I did. And people that give you that is different. Well, yeah, true. Well, you have to understand there are also people who don't give you advice for the sake of helping you. They give you advice just to make themselves feel better. Like, cutting through that is extremely difficult. Like, if my friend Stefan or Esther gave me advice, I know they would try and give me the best advice to improve myself, but there were people who gave me advice that was just to benefit themselves. To make them say, like, oh, see, I was right. Be like, well, I don't give a damn if you were right. That's the fact that, it is what it is. Rich also comes from, yeah, it does. Like, you have to deal with more taxes, which is also a bigger headache. And then you have to wonder if there are people in your life who want to be around you because of who you are or what money you have. Like, and then you also have people who are attacking you every direction. And then, I don't know. Like I'm not saying financial security isn't great. If I had millions of dollars, I would be like, okay, so I don't have to worry about food or medical care or where to live. Like, that would sound amazing. It's just that I wouldn't want the level of attention they get. Like, I saw what happened. Like, I don't agree what Charlie said in that last video with Sneeko. Like, I saw clips on it on YouTube and Twitter, because they freaking are everywhere, and there are so many of those parasites who create clip channels of popular YouTubers and Twitch streamers, and YouTube just recommends them everywhere, and it gets really on my nerve. But I saw it, and I was like, dude, I don't know. I'm not gonna take advice from these people. They're not doctors. Like, that's the thing. Everything they were talking about is stuff that doctors and, like, therapists and psychiatrists should be talking about, not YouTubers. Especially YouTubers who aren't parents. Like, they were talking about kid stuff, and I was just like, I don't want to listen to this. I'm not a parent. You guys aren't parents. I feel like it's not something... I don't know. It was just like... I feel like a lot of people just say yes to whatever Charlie says because he's popular. And then, I don't know, he said some really stupid shit recently. I finally got a PS5. Congratulations, Blue. I hope you will enjoy it. Did you get the disc version or the regular one? People get the... I didn't see your name because I'm looking at Restream because everything is red. But, yeah. People always got their hands out. Well, it's also with the Mr. Beast situation. apparently a pro model for the PS5 is coming out this year, and it's going to be like $700 to $800. I don't know how much of that is true because we're about to get into the fall season. And the thing is, when it comes to new devices, especially console updates, or consoles in general, they announce that in the summer, and then they release it during the fall. Like, that's the same thing for games. Like, they announce them during the summer, and they release it during the holiday seasons, like fall and winter. So I don't know how much true it is now, because we're about to get into September. But I'm no doubt in my mind they are making a PS5 Pro, and likely it's gonna be fucking expensive as hell. And I'm gonna end up buying it because I'm a dumbass. It's your birthday, so what, you're 21 now? Congratulations, you're legal now. Technically, I didn't pay for my consoles. Like, I never used my reward points. So, after, like, I would say 6 or 7 years of saving just, like, credit card points, I was like, how many points do I have? And then I was like, holy crap. So, I just literally used my credit card points to get my Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Granted, there was also, like, a deal with my bank. Like, they sometimes make promotional deals with other outlets, like Best Buy, Walmart, stuff like that. So they're like, hey, we'll give you 10% discount if you get a Best Buy physical gift card. And I was like, okay. So I got that, and I got, like, yeah. Sucks it didn't come with a game. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, back in the day, they would, like, bundle stuff with, like, a lot of games. Like, with Xbox, they would have, like, 2 or 3 games. Like, usually it would always be, like, Halo or Forza. And with Microsoft, or with the Sony, it would be like Metal Gear. Like, I think they're just getting cheap about that. They're just giving you, like, Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus now. Which I had to, like, cancel technically. I got the base model because freaking Adobe is not going to charge me $50 a month for my freaking programs. I was like, I just need Photoshop and Adobe Premiere. They're like, well, you can't have both of those, but we have package deals. They're like, I know the bullshit they're playing with me. They're like, they know that a lot of people just want Photoshop and Adobe Premiere, so they separate them into packages. So the Adobe one is one and the Photoshop is one, and you can't have both plans. You can only have one plan, so I have to pay for one plan, and then I have to pay for the app separately for Photoshop, which is $20 a month. And I'm just like, I fucking hate everything. I was just like, fucking, I hate you guys. They're like, oh, well, you can pay for the entire catalog, it's just $50 a month. I'm like, $50 a month? I don't even use like 90% of these apps. I just need Photoshop and Premiere. And I freaking, I even called the customer service representative, and they were like, no, you gotta either get the complete deal, or... I'm just like, you guys are just fucking mafia at this point. I'm still waiting for Dragon Age to Veilguard. I don't know how I feel about it. I saw the gameplay trailer of that, and I was just like, that is a lot of purple. They're acting like Guardians of the Galaxy. Or like generally like a Marvel film. Not the good one, like Marvel, like a Wolverine and Deadpool. That movie was amazing. It's like, I wanted it to be good, but I saw it and I was just like, what the flying hell was that? I was literally the Krusty meme. I was like, what the hell was that? I hope I'm wrong. I really am, but based on what everyone, like a lot of people share my opinion on that. And it also doesn't help that a large amount of like original BioWare staff have left. It's like what happened with Halo. Like, I was wondering why Halo Infinite just felt so much better than Halo 4 and Halo 5. It's because they brought in original Bungie staff. Like, the people who actually made the Halo franchise. I was like, no wonder this is better. And then they fired them right after. I was like, what the fuck? These guys make you a good game and then you fire... Well, there is actually a running theory that's kind of confirmed that they hate Bungie. Like 343, that they hate Bungie because they feel like they can do it better, and they never did it better. It's like what a lot of writers are doing with like the stuff that they are handed, like with Star Wars. They feel like they can do it better, and then they find out they can't do it better, and it pisses them off. It's like what they did with like that show, The Acolyte. I never watched it. I refused to watch it, but I read about it, and I was just like, this is so fucking stupid. The characters are dumb, they lack common sense, the Jedi are stupid. They're not even Jedi Masters, they don't even know how to use the Force correctly. I don't know. I have to find another dungeon. But I will say that PlayStation Plus Premium does give you a lot of great games, though. Like, I am disappointed that I'm not going to pay for the premium service anymore because I have to pay extra for Adobe. But it is what it is. You gotta make sacrifices. This is why I don't like this area, is because I always get lost.
All right. Here we go.
I might do Elden Ring next. I got my stream, my platinum run of the game, but I've been doing walkthroughs for that game, so I don't know how I feel about it.